Welcome, everyone. The context of strategic procurement. Basically, this will be the premises on which I will be speaking in this video. The strategic procurement and how do we contextualize it as far as possible. So, first and foremost thing is to develop a successful strategy based on simple basic rationalization program, evaluating key suppliers. Can we build in alliances with them, have certain sense of ratification certification program? If possible, can we do some responsible sourcing in the form of green sourcing, outsource product and services, early supply involvement, or ESI as is popularly known as. So let us understand how do we proceed with developing sourcing successful strategies. Successful sourcing strategies are basically all for functional products or innovative products. So it has to be either functional oriented or innovative oriented. Functional may be finance oriented product, financial products. It can be just electronic products per se, as in successful sourcing strategies. And every product line would have their peculiar strategies which will make them successful, and nothing can be replicated for different functions altogether. Similarly, for innovative product, you are creating demand among the markets altogether. So functional products are MRO items, commonly a low profit margin items, as the concern might be going around it, with relatively stable demand and high level of competition. So positively, first and foremost, what does MRO stands for? It is maintenance, repair, and operation. So basically, low profit margins, absolutely low profit margin, but voluminous product that we are talking about, where relatively low maintenance is required, low repairment is required, and low operations are required. Operational handling capabilities are not very complex as such thing. Innovative product, on the other hand, is absolutely characterized by immensely short product life cycle. A volatility in demand is foreseen and a high profit margin, probably with a relatively less competition, because we are targeting at the niche population or segmented population per se. So developing successful strategies, sourcing thereby, what are the frameworks? Can we go by step? Step one is the firm supplier has to be classified as either belonging to one of those categories, innovative or functional. Step two is where the goals and strategies of inbound portion of the supply chain are developed. Now, therein which you need to understand wherein the suppliers, your suppliers, is going to have provide you the functional capabilities or the innovative capabilities which they would like to integrate among their processes. Now, there specifically lies the goals and strategies thereabout for individual suppliers thereby. Supply chain capabilities are evaluated and compared to required performances. Set goals for improving capabilities, implement work plan, monitor progress, and thereby adjust the plans as on when on basis. So let us understand the supply chain framework. This is how it will be going around it. It flows a motion out here, and then probably this goes all together. Right. So this is what the plan is all about it. So, supply chain, classify purchase items, define the supply chain goals, identify the capabilities and improving the opportunities thereby, and then probably start working upon the stipulated plans, stipulated goals that is linked towards it. Execute the plans to achieve result, monitor progress, and make adjustments. Sourcing strategies for 30 years ago do not, I repeat, do not work well today. Squeezing suppliers to generate lower annual purchase spends her strategic business relationships all together. And how do we go across with it? So yes, we need to classify them, the functional or the innovative products, accordingly classify the suppliers, define the goals for them based on their capabilities, their the uniqueness, their opportunities that they can impede upon it, and then probably execute the plans and definitely monitor as the plan goes up, as the plan proceeds. Supply based rationalization program, also known as aka is known as supply based reduction or supply based optimization. Often different authors will come up with different terminologies, but they are one and the same. What does the it achieves to aim at? It achieves to aim at reducing the purchase prices. It achieves to aim at making the product affordable. Remember, that can only be done when there is a fewer impediment to the production in terms of supplier management, and there's a close knit relation and the close interaction between the buyers and the suppliers, and greater level of comfort, relatability in terms of quality and delivery is concerned. And that is what supply based rationalization or optimization is akin to. Evaluating and selecting key suppliers is all about collaborative relationship. Purchase cost becomes relatively less important, particularly with key suppliers. Key supplier selection is conducted by cross-functional team selection approach using evaluation of forms and scorecard. Channel partnership provides value for every participant, and this is in terms of channel equity. I'm talking around it, nothing else but channel equity. Supplier alliances and supplier certification program. The more a supplier is certified with different authorities, different stipulating bodies, different affiliation, it repose and sense of faith and confidence among the company. Yes, if the alliance is so strong, if the certification is valid, nothing can go wrong as far as as a suitable candidate for being into partnership. Firms uses in-house formal certification program, and in most cases ISO 9000 or similar certification is a part of the certification process. Buyers can monitor quality assurances, quality methods, identify the types of acceptance sampling and statistical process control method as on when on basis. This is what we are looking forward to. Green sourcing, also known as responsible sourcing, also known as sustainable sourcing, talking about meeting the current need without hindering the future requirements, without depleting any of the natural resources, be it economic, be it environmental, or even the social fabric of the society. If everything can be kept in as pristine as possible, that is what we will talk about as green sourcing. The Institute of Supply Management defines green sourcing as making environmentally conscious decisions throughout the purchasing process, beginning with the product, process design, and through product disposal per se. So, green sourcing, there are 6 steps to it. First and foremost thing, establish your policy. In this case, green policy. What does it all mean about? It means there has a particular support from the top management itself. They are very clear about the vision, then thereby it will reduce confusions down the line. They are legitimizing the procedures as we are going to ensure that there is a protection as the environmental, there is no hindrance, there is no hampering to the economic growth, environmental growth, no detrimental effect on the flora and fauna. Next step is start with the focus on limited numbers of items. Get comfortable with the process before expanding. Going corporate wide, step number 3 is educating the common person, the users. Provide training for employees. Use information from the outside sources. Keep on educating them. Keep on bombarding with the messages, with the advertising. Being responsible counts and make it count. Develop a metric system. Track even the smallest actions to provide pride in being green. Being proud of what you are doing around it. Being responsible. Use certified green products and services. Ask questions. Get copies of suppliers. Green policies require certification. Expand towards sustainability using the purchase department, internal and external influences to grow awareness. We talk about outsourcing program. Outsourcing program allows the firms to concentrate on capabilities reducing staff levels, accelerating engineering efforts, reducing the management problems thereby. What are we looking? Exactly, we are looking nothing but flexibility in our operations. Flexibility to meet the customer demand at the same time being as sustainable as possible, as responsible as possible. Risk associated with outsourcing means we are giving a control in somebody else's hand. So there is a loss of control. That means the moment I lose control, I am getting dependent on the supplier, and thereby requires an increase required for liaison, building relation, building confidence with the supplier thereby. So there are basically two kind of programs for outsourcing. One is insourcing, which is nothing but backsourcing, going a step back, reverting to the in-house production when in terms of quality, delivery, and services do not meet attention. On the other hand, the other one would be co-sourcing, which you are doing in parallelly, the sharing of process function between internal staff and external provider provides the flexibility to decide which all areas to outsource and for how long as the case might be. Supplier involvement as early as possible. Can you get involve the suppliers in the production process? Keep them in confidence. This is the confidence enhancing step also. ESI is highly effective supply chain integrative techniques. Key suppliers become more involved in the internal process of the firm, particularly with respect to the new product, new process design, concurrent engineering and design for manufacturability techniques. Value engineering activities help the firm to reduce cost, improve quality, and reduce new product development time. Vendor manage inventory. What are we looking out here? In this case, the company is not managing the inventory, but allowing the vendor to manage in turn is shifting the cost on the responsibility of the vendor. Or should I say, we are promoting nothing but JIT, just in time. Vendor manage inventory, or VMI, supplier manage buyer's inventory to reduce inventory carrying cost and avoid stockouts for the buyer. From buyer's perspective, supplier tracks inventory, determine inventory schedules and order quantities. Buyer can take ownership and probably at stocking location. From supplier perspective, the person, the company who's supplying it avoids ill-advised customer orders. Supplier decides inventory setup and shipment, opportunity for supplier to educate customers and other products also, and that is what counts in the long run. Co-manage inventory is wherein both the suppliers and the buyers are actually managing a common inventories for their usage. Suppliers work from customer storage areas at a point of assembly or a sale. Barcoding as scanners update the computers counts as on when on basis. EDIs or electronic data interface is the best way to keep a track of things, how the movement of products have been uh, been counted for. Allows the suppliers to profile demand and determine accurate forecast. EDI also provides recorder point data to permit timely deliveries. Suppliers co-location or just-in-time to suppliers employees is embedded in buyers purchasing department to forecast demand, to monitor inventory and place order with access to sensitive files and record. Strategic alliance development. Alliance development, nothing is but an extension of supplier development, referring to increasing the key of strategic supplier capability. Supply alliances result in much better understanding of how the market is behaving, how the market is anticipating to the new technologies, the knowledge, and based upon it can you determine the rate of your investment as the case might be. So there are less chances of pilferages. The supplier alliances, there is a constant updation of knowledge transfers taking place as to what is expected and what can be educated and made anticipated by the customers. Alliance development eventually extends to the firm's second tier suppliers as the firm's key supplier begins to form their own alliances as the case might be. So, how do we go for a win win strategic alliance agreement? We can have a collaborative negotiation, also known as integrative negotiation. Both sides can work together To maximize the outcome or create a win-win result require open discussion and a free flow of information between parties. Distributive negotiation refers to a process that leads to self-interested, one-sided outcome only, nothing but one-sided outcome. Negotiated win-win strategic alliances agreement is a step builds prepare process. What are the description? Gain an understanding of both parties, interest brainstorming values, maximize solutions, identify objective criteria to evaluate fairness of agreement, develop negotiation databases, review previous negotiations to catalog standards, practices, precedents, metrics, creative solutions, and the lessons learned thereby. So, what are we looking into it? First and foremost is to building the process. Next is to developing the negotiation databases, and then thereby designing the negotiation launch again to suit the requirement. Institute feedback mechanism which will keep everybody abreast with the situation, and that is what we are looking for, a win-win solution situation between the suppliers and buyers as on when on basis. The second tier supplier relationship, and how do we go across with it? Supplier alliances development can indirectly create successful high performing second tier and third tier relation. Organization may require direct suppliers to acquire goods and services from specific supplier under specific condition. They can also work directly with supplier alliances, partners in solving second tier supplier problem, designing supplier selection and certification. So determining key strategic partners as an organizational parameters. Now we can base it upon the business unit, the geographic areas, the industries, as the case might be. Remember, everything counts. And as a second tier supplier relations, they are situated in a much different location, and their requirement might be a wee bit be different from what has been required as a tier one. Supplier relation facilitate dissemination of information. Obviously, yes, you should be giving information definitely through internal website pamphlet, internal workshops as to what is expected and how we are proceeding with the future endeavors. These needs to be discussed with them. Elevate the importance of alliances, assign high level managers reporting to the top management, establish consistent procedures. Example for throughout the organization as on when on basis. How do we go for it? The managing and developing of second tier relationship. How do we go across it? And definitely, since we are talking about the second tier relation, we need to keep them motivated, and best way of keeping them motivated is rewarding them as on when on basis the business has been enhanced or there is a sufficient significant growth in the businesses. And this reward need not be monetary also, but non-monetary rewards can often be as lucrative as a monetary reward is all about it. So yes, we talk about determining key strategic parameters, facilitating disseminations of information, elevating the importance of alliances, provided continuous evaluation, rewarding supplier performances. So use of procurement system, how do we go across it? Primary benefits of e-procurement, electronic procurement is what we are looking for it. Electronic procurement, the advantages is all about cost savings. Advantage is all about making it many a transaction in a split second of times. That means we are not only saving on cost but also on time. So we can actually get into the operations of the business. E-procurement system concentrate large volume of small purchases with a fewer suppliers using electronic catalogs available on the organization's users, probably in the website, probably in their internal social media, reverse auction, pre-qualified suppliers enter website at a pre-designated time, as on when on basis, monitor the prices until the session is over. Rewarding supplier performances, rewarding suppliers provides an incentive for for supplier to surpass performance goals. That is what is the ideal is all about it. This means if everybody exceeds their goals, automatically the business will grow time by leaps and bounds. Punishment is a negative reward, maybe reducing the future business, or let's say you're talking about bill back amount equal to the incremental cost resulting from late delivery. poor quality, a share of the cost reduction, more businesses and longer contract, access to the in-house training, seminars and other resources, company and public recognition as the case might be. So yes, we are talking about sharing cost reduction, more businesses, longer contract, access to in-house seminars, company and public recognition per se, as the case might be. So benchmarking of successful sourcing practices is to look at certain case studies which can be available from supply chain council or the advanced purchasing studies as the case might be. What are we looking, if not at the case studies, can we at least mimic that competitor who is doing exceedingly well or is the market leader? Copying what other business do is the biggest form of flattery. It's the biggest form of respect in the form that they are excelling in certain parameters. An effective way to involve supply chain performances. Benchmarking regarding the data sourcing practices can be obtained in a number of ways, both formal and informal per se. Using third party supply chain management, we are talking about T3PL or third party logistic. Growing and involving a firm sourcing and material managed product distribution responsibility. Third party logistics charges a fee for the services as an estimate saving to the 10 to 20% of the total logistic cost. On the other hand is a VMI or vendor managed inventory services. Again, one of the popular roles for third party logistic and a lead logistic provider, LLP or 4PL. Lead logistic provider is primarily a third party logistic provider, oversees the third party logistic. So 3PL, and it has been overseas, it's like a reinsurance of an insurance party altogether. Accessing and improving firms purchasing function. The purchasing function is the most value enhancing functions in an organization. Thus, it is preferred to be periodically monitored. The purchasing functions of the performance set against the standard goals, set against the industry benchmark, set against the best of the lot, and you are ensuring yourself an upgradation automatically. Survey or audit can be administered as a self assessment among purchasing staff on an annual innovation evaluation pattern. So skill requires for purchasing professional. What are they? First and foremost is excellent interpersonal communication, a good knowledge of the customers and their requirement, ability to embrace change, ability to make decision on the data available to them and making the most out of the situation, ability to work in teams, influencing persuasion skills, analytical skills, strategic skills, negotiation, understanding business condition per se. With this, I come to an end of this presentation. I'm sure you have understood exactly the requirement of sourcing strategies, how well to go across with it. Thank you once again for watching this video.